Hey patrons, Dre here. How you guys doing? Hope you're all doing well. So I wanted to make a video today for all of you. We're constantly, as a society, as human beings, we're always, for the most part, trying to find ways to better our lives. We're always trying to find ways to enhance our lifestyles and how to create, ultimately, better habits, good habits, positive habits that will lead us to an overall better experience in this life. And it's just funny how us men's lifestyle YouTubers, we always create these videos of, 5 better habits to do this and, 6 ways to do that. And, we're always constantly showcasing these good habits to all of you. There's so much great content out there. There's so much great value that you can get from these videos. However, at the same time, it's cool to have direction, but how do you stay on that path? How do you keep and how do you tenaciously grasp onto those good habits and eventually let them become a part of your lifestyle to where you don't need self-discipline anymore. You don't need, you don't need to have willpower. You just do it. It becomes a part of your life. How do you get to this state and create this lifestyle for yourself without swaying, without falling off track? How do you stay on course? And so with today's video, I wanted to discuss the Sirens of Greek mythology. Now, look, I'm a Christian dude. I believe in the Bible, but however, to me there still are, whether I believe in something or not, I can always learn. I can always learn from a story that I may think, or that may be make believe, or something that I don't necessarily believe in. I can still learn from it. I can still take from it and find value out of that resource, right? And so I heard this story the other day on one of my favorite YouTubers, Elijah Long, and he did a story on Odysseus. And when I heard this message, I learned so much from it, and I eventually did my own research and found some other pretty amazing things that I believe can truly help all of us out in life as men. And so the Sirens of Greek mythology, these were, I guess you could say, creatures, or these were beautiful human beings. They were beautiful women that whenever you encountered them, their beauty and their voices and the way they sang was so magnificent and so glorious that you lost focus of everything else in life and what you were currently doing at that moment. And so many sailors would go out and, because these sirens, they lived near the island of what was it? Celis, something like that. And so they lived near this island, and anytime sailors would, sail by them, these sailors would hear this music and they would hear these voices, and it was so enchanting that every single time the sailors on board of the ships would either jump out of the ship and into the water and drown, or their ships would wreck, and they would wreck into the island, into the rocks. And so Odysseus came in there, this bad boy, and he was so intrigued with this, and he was so curious of what was going on and what these sirens sounded like. He was so curious of what was this, what was going on. And so he got smart, and he told his crew, he said, I'm gonna have all you put beeswax in your ears. So when we encounter these sirens, you guys won't be distracted by the beauty of their voices. But me, I want you guys, he told them, I want you to tie me to the mast of the ship. I'm not gonna put beeswax in my ears, and I'm gonna fully take in these sirens, and I want to be able to hear what they're saying or what they're singing. You know, I want to hear this for myself. I want to experience this. And so that's what he did. He had his boys tie him to the mast, and they went out there, and they encountered these sirens, and the beauty of these voices were just so, amazing and so glorious. And Odysseus, when he encountered them, and he was begging his crew to please just untie him, so he can go towards these women, towards these sirens. All he wanted to do was be with these women, right? And because the crew had beeswax in their ears, they couldn't hear the sirens. They didn't bother them, and they were like, you know what? No, we're not gonna untie you, Odysseus. We're gonna let you, just like you ordered us. We're gonna keep rowing. We're gonna keep going. We're gonna stay focused on course. So that's exactly what they did, and he lived through that to tell the tale of this story, and he got to experience all this. And it was only because he was tied to that mast, that ship, that he was able to do this. And so the question is here, what are we tying ourselves to? Through all the temptations of life, through all the sirens that come at us on a daily basis, what are we tying ourselves to? At the end of the day, you are a product of your environment. So what environment have you created that you are tying yourself to? I said this in a video last week. I said, if you want to lose 20 or 30 pounds, but you got Nutter Butters, you got Captain Crunch, you got all these good tasting things up in your pantry, Oreos, and you name it. How do you expect to lose that weight? How do you expect to stay on course, to stay on a good diet? I wouldn't be able to, man. I wouldn't be able to handle the temptations. Me personally, I wouldn't be able to handle the sirens. I would falter quick, And so it's so important that we create an environment for ourselves that's going to help us succeed, right? A lot of us, we want to be hustlers. We want to be go-getters. We want to be motivated and empowered every day we wake up. Hey, but if you wake up and your room's a mess, what kind of environment are you setting for yourself? If you aren't waking up in the mornings, making your bed right away, you're just setting yourself up for failure, right? And so it's just so important, you guys, our environment. You are a product of your environment. And not just with things around your house and just materialistic things, but how about the people you surround yourself with, right? You are who you hang around with. I'm sure you've heard that quote many times. And it's just, that quote, man, it's so on point, man. It might sound a little cliche, but it's so on point. There's another story that kind of coincides with the Sirens of Greek mythology. There was another dude named Jason who encountered these sirens as well. And he was on a mission to get this golden fleece, right? And so he gathered and banded together with this group of heroes, and all these dudes had their own individual talents and their own individual gifts and abilities that they all brought to the table. And so he formed an alliance with these dudes, created a little like band together, right? And with the strength of all these dudes, they didn't put beeswax in their ears. Instead, their way of facing these sirens and getting past them, because they had to pass the same island as Odysseus and his men had to, they had a musician on board who outplayed and overpowered the sirens, their music, their voices, with his own music. He brought his harp because he played the harp, this musician, and he overpowered them with his music, and that's how they were able to surpass the sirens themselves to go get this golden fleece, right? And so it's important, man. Who are the dudes that you are surrounding yourself around? Are you surrounding yourself with knuckleheads, or are you surrounding yourself with dudes that are empowering you, that are pushing you, that are challenging you, that are telling you what you need to hear and not necessarily what you want to hear? In some versions of this story, it's actually said that if you were able to encounter these sirens and you were able to live and able to overcome the temptation of these sirens, if you were able to live through this event of encountering them, it was actually said in some stories that the sirens would die, which is pretty cool, and it's pretty significant in my opinion, and it really relates to real life as well, man. When you're able to overpower your own temptations and your own demons in your own life, those things eventually die off as well. I've noticed that in my own life. I've had so many people I've encountered in my own life that are like, they see me and how strict I am with my diet and my certain lifestyle, and they're like, dude, how do you do it, man? Like, how do you stay so focused, and how do you stay laser focused, man? How do you say no to that pizza, man? Like, what the heck? And eventually, because I've done it so many times and I've created an environment for myself over these years, it ain't no thing for me to say no to some pizza or to some cookies. It's no big deal. That's just the way I live my life, right? I've created these habits in my life, and now I don't need self-discipline. I don't need willpower. It's just what I do. And so that's what happens, man, when you create an environment for yourself and you start to live that lifestyle. You start to implement a good environment within your lifestyles, that you just become acclimated to it, and it's just what you do. You don't even have to think about it anymore. It's just what you do as a man, right? And those temptations, especially for me, man, they've died off. They died off years ago, and that's why I'm able to stay so strict, man. That's why I'm easily able to just go to the gym on a daily basis. No big deal. It doesn't take much willpower for me to go to the gym. It's just what I do. Yeah, some days I don't feel like it, but hey, it's what I do, man. I go to the gym, even the days I don't feel like it. I don't have to sit there and think about it and try to get myself pumped up and listen to hardcore music and watch motivational YouTube videos. It's just what I do, because I've put in that work of creating an environment for myself. And so that's what we all got to do as men, If you're addicted to video games, man, like, instead of having your PS4 set up in the corner of your room with a big old plasma TV with, your controller, your headset, and all this stuff, and got your snacks right there off to the side. Hey, instead of that, how about you replace that with some gym equipment? Create a better environment for yourself, man. If you open up your laptop and you got video games downloaded, if you got freaking porn downloaded, I don't know, whatever things that you feel are holding you back in life, wipe that slate clean. Take off those video games. Put some block up things on your computer so no bad content pops up. And instead, maybe have some ebooks that you downloaded. Put that stuff on there, man. Make a playlist on YouTube where, every time you go on YouTube, instead of seeing all these funny videos pop up or these videos that are just going to waste your time, have a playlist of like motivational content, some personal development content. You got to create a better environment for yourself, right? Same thing as if I'm gonna go, get a massage at a spa. I'm not gonna go in there. They're gonna be playing metal music. No, they're gonna create an environment for me so I can be calm. That's why I go in there. I go in there to calm myself down, to relax. I work a lot. I work out a lot, so I like to go in there and be fully at peace, be at ease, clear my mind. They set an environment in there for you, and so that's what we got to do in our daily lives. The way we live our lives all comes down to our environment and who we surround ourselves with, right? Be mindful of who you allow on board of your ship, right? Be mindful of the crew that you band together with. Do they have beeswax in their ears? Are they laser focused, the people you surround yourself with? Or are they like the rest of the world, Your boys who you got around you, are they easily corrupted? Are they easily offended? Are they easily, do they fall apart easily, man? Do they fall into temptation easily? You need strength. There's strength in numbers, and you need to make sure that you got strength surrounding you. You got that foundation of friends, that environment. The enemy is here to kill, steal, and destroy. So we got to be on guard at all times, right? So I appreciate you guys watching. Hope you got some value out of this. And because I know I've gotten a lot of value out of this myself, and this has opened up a whole new door for me, a whole new worldview for me. So I appreciate you guys, love you, and I'll talk to you soon. Shaka, bro.